And I got to meet BJ Betts and take his seminar, and I got to say his seminar was the most fucking tat daddy seminar. Like everybody else, and I'm not saying, I know he knows art of course, but like he would talk about things like someone would ask a question. He's like, it was how to tattoo a rose, and it was just very fucking entertaining. He'd be like, yeah, so this area here, I wanted it a little darker, so I just fucking make it fucking darker. Like, it's rad, it's dope. And it just felt like a tattoo seminar, and I really appreciated that. He wasn't talking right. He wasn't talking about like light source and midtones. He was just like, yeah, you want this fucking area not light, so like fucking don't make it light. And I'm like, okay, hell yeah.
It can't be that easy though, it's like, it's that same thing. It's like straightforward. BJ Betts is a fucking master. You know what I mean? So that's awesome. I'm glad that you were wise enough to like take so many, like to take advantage of that. But I'm such a geek about that. Like I would do the same thing. Like I'm not missing a fucking second.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like even after all these years, like I hope you never lose that passion. I don't think you will. Yeah. I think that all of us, I see, Matt's the same way. We're like, we talk about being eternally a student and stuff, but like the truth is like, it's still fun for me. Like I get all fucking excited, you know what I mean? And like one little morsel, like I've been in seminars and I remember like taking notes and like circling it like 20 times. I'm just sitting there scribbling a circle because I'm like, this is life changing, Man. And I still feel that, I want that magic of tattooing forever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think ultimately you had a lot of shit happen, but I think ultimately you had a good time, a good week. It's cool.
Yeah. And it was amazing. And a level of surrender came on that drive that it's like, dude, what you resist persists. And real quick, Josh, what you were just talking about, it's a shame that like youth is wasted on the young, because looking back, like being the bully of the nerds and shit in school, that I was like, if I could go back and do it again, I would befriend all the people that I thought were dorks or fucking nerds, because and I would sit in class up front and pay attention, because of that, like the love to gain knowledge and to learn is so profound in me right now. Like I can't really get enough of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And there was a level of surrender, Matt, and this may be the greatest thing, but it's like, you know what, just accept it. You are who you are. This is the impact you make. It continues to grow and change and evolve. Like, accept it, live into it, push forward, and fucking just receive it and be that.
That's why I sent you that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. What?
That's why I sent you that message where I don't remember exactly, but something along the lines of a lot of stuff is about to change for you. I just wanted to make sure you were aware to accept it and to handle it the correct way as well.
So good, man. So fucking good. Something else that I received in one of our phone calls, because Hip would call me almost every other day. We talked every day, every other day, because I'd want to know, cool, where'd you just go? What's next? Like, what are you up to? When we could talk, which was brief. And I feel like you noticed, like firsthand, lack of leadership. Right?
Yeah.
Which some people could complain about, but guys like us get real excited. To me, that's another form of affirmation that you're doing it right, and that the world and even our industry could stand more leadership, better leadership, which is who we are. And so to me, so many of you listeners, again, the Dunning-Kruger effect, may have a desire in your heart, feel called to do something, but ask, but who am I, right? When the truth is, we need you, And so I thought that was a powerful observation, because so often you think something like that would be riddled with leadership. And to get there and for a moment maybe be discouraged that the leadership here is missing, to me, is a calling to those of you out there who feel called to be leaders. You're needed.
Absolutely. You know, you've got a lot of people who grow up without fathers, and you'll hear them if they're successful. Oftentimes, they'll be like, it was a coach, it was somewhere like a football coach, some form of a coach in their life that gave them that leadership. You know, you hear that story. I love it when I'm tattooing somebody that's, you know, just clearly really got they got it together. You know, and as you tattoo people, you talk to them, and so often I hear about like great parents. You know, part of my success was my great, but we don't all get that. Right.
Most of us don't.
Most of us don't have that privilege or that luxury at all.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you can't have leadership in your life. And,
that's right.
You know, like you said, we need you. You know what I mean? So it isn't. I do think it's really important to find that, to find that leadership. You know.
Mm-hmm. Real
just
cool.
To get permission, like we talk a lot about. Like you mentioned several times, Matt. I love this phrase from you. You know, I'm really excited to see how this plays out in your favor.
Yeah, right.
That's one of my favorite sayings I hear you say a lot. And the first time you said it to me was a really rough time in my life. And I was almost a little bit annoyed with it. You know what I mean? Because it was everything was so bad. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean my favor? Like, do you see what's going on?
Right.
But then it happened. And it did play out in my favor. So.
Jeez. It's like that famous Rumi quote, R-U-M-I hyphen. Rumi's a poet. He's got so many great one-liners, but one is, it's all rigged in your favor.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. So even when I said earlier, a couple of quotes that I like, I think we have a lot of quotes on the show. I love them. They work for their work, you know, but with the one that I said to take a little time to be quiet, one of my absolute favorites is, be still and know.
Ooh.
Right?
Yeah.
It's not even much, but I'll get caught up in my own cancer situation and what if this, and it's just like Nikki will say, Joshua, to be still and know. And I will just immediately feel myself calm down. And I'm like,
I love that.
Right? It's beautiful. Yeah.
There's a whole second part to that
there is
line that you just said. That's the first half. The second half of that, you know, the ancient scripture says, be still and know that I am God.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah, as soon as I heard that, that's just been something that's been in my life for a long time.